Look at this. Quite primal. Beautifully primal. It's harvest season. Best part of harvest season is like, we don't really have Carnival over here. It's down south and it's in Europe, but it's not here, but it's a little bit, sprinkles of it. And the awesome thing is it's harvest season. Get to have a turkey like nearly the size of my head. Look at this thing. I can hide behind it.
You can.
It's a primally beautiful thing. I figure this is just something that harkens back to when like our ancestors were living in like the South Asian swamps and getting eaten by giant birds. And so this is like a extended psychological act of revenge.
Yeah.
It's a delicious revenge. Yeah, so the studio decided to take a break and go out to the fair. Yeah. They're hills, by the way.
Hey guys.
Obviously, you guys have heard me enough and seen me enough, SpeeDee. So, if you haven't, though, hi. Nice to see you, or you see me, whatever, however this works. You know, video, I guess. Nice that you're here. Yep, we're out here in the Dust Bowl. South Plains Fair, right?
Yeah, South Plains Fair.
Yeah, South Plains, that's what it's called. South Plains Fair. Love it. Like, there's a famous song about, well, there's a famous song about the place, but it's not a very flattering song. But ironically enough, despite this famous song about this place and it not being very flattering, they still gave that guy a street name Everett. You know. I've listened to him on the radio here because they play him a lot. He sounds like a weird bougie kind of like womanizer to me. He actually fits the character pretty well out here. I've run into a lot of people like that, so. But I've also run into some really cool people out here. You know who you are. Woo! I'm probably gonna eat this all weekend. He's probably going to go for seconds.
Not right away.
Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to put beer companies on the thing. Oh well. Cheers. Definitely not necessarily my choice, but when you come to the fair, yeah, you're not gonna get like a Stella twice. It's not really, it's not fair beer. Miller Lite is though.
It's either Miller or Coors.
Coors to me doesn't taste like anything.
Yeah.
Of course, this doesn't taste like much of anything either. You know, but I'm not knocking any beer companies over here in America. It's just that once you lived in Europe and you had beer, like I'm beer, but they beer. Yeah, this stuff's pretty. It's all it's all Pilsners practically. So it's not like. I mean, the microbreweries did eventually start kind of popping up and bringing a little like flavor and variety over the last 40 years. And I mean, I know there's some older than that, but over here it seems more about, it actually seems more about like, beer seems more about like a clickiness, a fashion thing, and a quantity thing. It's about how much of it you can get at once for a price, and whether or not it's popular and cool with other people, which is really weird to me because it's going inside of you, not somebody else.
Really?
So you should just only worry about whether you like it or not. But over here, it's kind of a part of the social dynamics. Like, you know, they can actually be kind of snobbish about their beer, even though it's just some pretty basic Pilsner. In some parts of Europe, this is what they give their children. Ein Kinderbier. It's wet. Of course, you know, the downside, you know, it's definitely gonna, you know, make us have to, like, go to the bathroom a lot.
Yeah.
So it's been a really, really long time since I've been to one of these.
Oh,
I have been to them like on the West Coast, on the East Coast, up north near the border of Canada, and I've been to a few like around Houston. Part of me being out here in West Texas, I'm out here specifically in Lubbock, has been, and I think other creatives, you know, in various degrees of success or what have you, can kind of agree. When you're in places like, say, Houston, Austin, Dallas, yeah, you know, there's lots of galleries, there's lots of competitions, lots of stuff going on in a big place like that. But in a way, a lot of stuff going on is also a distraction. And so when you can find places that are big enough that have everything that you like actually need to live and sustain yourself, but don't necessarily have a huge cultural kind of calendar like the bigger places, it's a really, really good place to actually set up your studio and then network towards those bigger places. And so that's kind of part of why I've not been like in a hurry to leave. Because culturally, I'm real different than literally everybody in this county. It doesn't bother me, it bothers some people here, but that's like normal everywhere you go. There's just going to be cranky people. Like, you know what I mean. There's these people you'll run into. I've run into them a lot out here. I don't know if it's the environment, because this is the kind of place where it's a little like New Zealand. The weather can change 4 times in a single day. We can literally go through all 4 seasons. Like, take for example, my birthday, July 12th, the exact middle of the year and usually the hottest time of year. I've experienced a hot day on the same day that I experienced a rainy day, on the same day that I experienced a day with an ice storm, followed by a windstorm. Yeah, it really can range through all of it, you know. It started hot, and it just ended wicked. To where it was like, it blasted snow into the corner of my studio at the time. It was kind of, and yeah, I was getting ready to do some barbecuing, so I was kind of like, because it's the middle of, you know, it's the hottest day of the year. Well, this place doesn't let you really plan like around the normal calendar the rest of the country does. I think some of the things it's famous for are
unpredictable news people.
Are our news people unpredictable?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I know...
Especially weather.
Well, that's just weather. I mean, you can't expect them to predict it accurately out here. It doesn't know what it's going to do either, so they can't figure it out. No. Well, the thing I know about the news people here, I probably should never say on video. When I was first up here, I tell you what, some of them were real party animals. I'm talking climbing on the tables and swinging their shirt around. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Some of them, the ones that get on there and they're the trusted face of the Lubbock news. It's like when you're in the music gig and doing a lot of shows and doing a lot of the nightlife like I was when I was earlier here. Oh yeah, the after parties after some of those shows. Yeah, some of your favorite news anchors are wildcats at night. But you know, that changes too. This is a different place. You know, for the longest time, this place was kind of, I guess, what you'd call semi-dry, where it's like on the edge of the border part of the county or part of the town, you could buy alcohol at these specific rigged places where the prices were outrageous. And I actually worked at one of those when I first got out here. And they were price rigging. Every Thursday, all of the owners of these, you know, beer barn things out there would meet and set prices for the week. So it was definitely a price rigged kind of scenario. And so, like, and I became a part of the organization that was trying to make it wet, because to me it seemed like a very dangerous thing. And I was encountering things like, well, I had to drive out there to go to work, and people would be trying to haul ass to get out there before the hours ended for the alcohol sales. And some of those people were drunk and they were hauling ass driving out there to beat the closing time, and To me, that seemed more dangerous than letting them walk to the 7-Eleven, you know? But I will say this. One thing's definitely true. One of the arguments of the opposition side was how it will bring kind of a trashier kind of culture to the city, and it definitely did. We got trashier. You saw more debris, beer cans, trash, just laying around, you know? This is kind of an unusual place where it's like it is part of Texas, but its culture kind of belongs more to like Texas, like New Mexico, Oklahoma, and there are a lot of people here from both of those. I just wanted to, you know, make this little video, show us having a little bit of spare time fun before we go back down and make some more videos and do some more work, and you know, talk a little bit about what motivated me to come out here. Was it was family crisis, health thing. So I come out here, you know, and I was in the middle of an unfortunate end to a relationship. And needed a new scene, a fresh start. And I had finally learned that, like, living in places like Austin and Houston and San Antonio, where I was being distracted from my goal as a creative, from my calling, but I was also kind of at an age where I was running from my calling because it was kind of a terrifying thing, and it still is a little bit for me. There's a fear that I'm finally like feeling strong enough to overcome, and that's why I'm doing a verbal vlog about it, you know, and being more verbal and more out front, where I would ordinarily always try to stay off camera and not talk, let my work speak for itself, and I still do in many ways, you know, prefer that and want that, but like I believe very much in, like, you find all your strengths, you polish them, but they're already your strengths, so you don't need to put a lot of work into them necessarily, you know, but you do need to put a little work, right? But then you find your weaknesses, especially the weaknesses in areas that you're interested in and you want to be better at, you know, and I put a lot of my energy into improving. And for a long time, I guess I've kind of used that crutch. I mean, it is true that I am, you know, a visual and auditory art, you know, creative, and like that's an easier way for me to express myself, and that's my more natural way to express myself. It's kind of impersonal and detached, so there's like a safety in doing that, and that part of that was driven by a fear, a conscientiousness, that I would be like, and I know I am when I can tell by the body language. I'm extremely empathic. I can tell by more than the body language. I can tell by the energy signature, you know, that's coming off somebody. Like I hear it, I can feel it when I'm being long-winded like I am now. I mean, I've used that excuse a lot. That's the reason why I'm a visual artist and a musician and I write plays and so forth, is because using the normie thing, the language thing, is not, I'm not that good at it. I don't know how to talk shorthand that well, and I don't know how to talk about uninteresting things, like superficial things, like, don't ask me about the weather. Honestly, I don't care. I dress for it. That's about it. I mean, to me, that's not a good opener. So, what do you think about the weather? I don't. You know, so that's kind of part of, I guess, the personality type thing, right? I'm definitely INFJ. Definitely like a paladin type of, you know, personality. It's connected to my calling that I'm like that more than the, you know, the MBTI chart. It's something I tested for as a student, DOD student, Department of Defense schools. They would kind of put us through a lot of these kind of tests to kind of decide where we needed to be allocated and located for our education, and what kind of education we needed, what fit who and what we were. I appreciated that we did that. I had brief stints in civilian schools, and it was an awful experience. I can't tell you what it's like now, but one of the crazy things is, even though it's got federal oversight and it's got federal money and it's got a criteria, just because you have a criteria doesn't mean you can keep your eye on everybody. And so, education in a state, say a state like Missouri, compared to like a state like Ohio, oh my God, how drastically different. I mean, Ohio, the state of Ohio, I got to give them props. It's like they are literally all raising rocket scientists. Not just, you know? I mean, forget all about Jack Parsons and blowing himself up and all that later, but technically he wasn't a product of their educational system. He did his primary and then he left and went on his own, so he's very self-taught. Which can kind of work, because sometimes education will force you into thinking inside the box that they understand, because they're just teaching you what they understand. Very few of them are actually have a practical, hands-on gnosis in what they're teaching to give you kind of a more well-rounded gnosis of the subject you're studying. So college isn't always the answer, and it won't necessarily even give you knowledge on the subject you paid for. Not enough, necessarily. I mean, you could go out there into your career and find that you pretty much still have to be trained, and they have to untrain some of your college education. I've had that happen. It's kind of like a weird American thing. We turn everything into a mandatory rite of passage.
Thank you.
Like my brief times where I was over here in American schools, it was by the time you were in elementary or junior high, you were already having to think about what college you were going to go to, and you were lesser of a human if you didn't. So there was definitely this social stigma thing that divided the young people. That's what my experience was like. It was literally like, there's the ones that are going to have a future, and there's the ones that are going to stay here and be like their parents or dwell in nothing, and very awful kind of attitude about it. Kind of reminds me of how Gear Score came into WoW. Everybody was willing to go out there and find out and get to know each other and learn whether or not each other could play, and not really worry about what their gear was per se, unless it was obvious that that was the problem. Then Gear Score comes along and everybody becomes an elitist jerk, and it's like, this number to get in. And it's like, wait a minute, that Gear Score number is twice that of the raid. There's no point in going in that raid. If I need that Gear Score to get into this raid, I may as well go to the one that matches my Gear Score. So that part never made sense to me. Like, it literally turned, like, in a way I think it increased the transmog thing, that raids are about getting the achievement, getting the transmog, but not about the like actual experience, not struggling through it with your teammates and triumphing kind of thing. Been a long time since I've had like long regular teammates that I played and did raids with. Now I pug. That's right. Hug. That's right. We gonna pug. We do it all night. We ain't got a real life. You're gonna have to link your Gear Score. Unless you got a good DPS. I want to do some of those parody songs, or at least I'm still waiting to get contact back from them. Some of the people that did do the parody songs for WoW. I totally want to put them in some of my WoW videos. I definitely can't eat any more of this turkey leg. Look at how much you ate. Look at this, in comparison. Of course, I'm the only one who's been talking in the video, but look at how much of his turkey leg he's destroyed. Very manly job indeed. And he's not even there yet. And this is one of those weird manly type creatures who will actually eat the bone. Yeah, he will. He'll eat the bone. Now here's mine.
Oh, you're about to lose it.
I'm about to lose some. See, it doesn't even look like I've eaten it. Oh, I did lose some. Okay, and I just picked it right back up off a filthy table. Why? I grew up Army. I'm an Army brat. There's the 5-second rule. Besides, we used to actually roll our food in ash and then put it on the grill. My dad called it the Army's secret sauce. Yes, it's time to wrap this turkey leg up. We should have got a bag so the turkey legs can be carried. Well, okay, I'm probably the only one that has leftover turkey leg. Woo!
Oh, Ariel, where's the bone?
So you are getting to the bottom of it, huh? You know, you can make like those in Lao, but they're not turkey legs, they're raptor legs, because it's like dinosaur thigh, you know?
Yeah. Real huge dinosaur thigh.
Yeah, we thought we'd put this into the alchemy video. Why not? That's a part of it. They're all being mental. You know, you got to use your mind to determine what you need when you need it and give it to yourself, you know. I admit I'm a workaholic. I'm an extreme workaholic. I'm technically working right now when I'm supposed to be enjoying myself. But that's my personality, you know. Look at all those bubbles. Isn't that cool? Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, you know, the studio's no good if you don't have at least some connection to your community, and you do need to go out and like do the normie thing a little bit. I mean, there's some things that like everybody likes, normie or not, you know, and I'm a weirdo and I'll admit it. It doesn't even bother me. I like being free and not having to worry about like, you know, whatever society says I'm supposed to be. It can say it all day. I'm still going to be what I'm going to be, you know. I'm as non-conformist as I can be. But, you know, I have to eat. I have to sleep. I have to have shelter and security, so I'm not as far as a non-conformist as I'd like to be. Oh, boy. I'll admit it. I'm an anarchist. It's just not realistic. It's not like we can have anarchy. But I'm willing to give it a try. I mean, the only real thing you have to worry about is, are you able? Me, and when it comes to that, I'm fearless. And if you really think about it, does it really matter if you're able? Because if it's that bad at times, well, sometimes being able and surviving something isn't the best thing. Oh, but we're not allowed to talk like those dark things, are we? Everything's supposed to be like, you know, what is the algorithms about? You gotta not talk about certain subjects, you know? Because obviously words can make people do things, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like, maybe in the cult of personality kind of way, yeah. But I mean, to me, that's one of the things that I want to kind of get into. The studio is about getting into that, because like we have this interesting view of where we are in relation to our past. We don't really look at our past like a string of social choices that we've collectively made, consciously or unconsciously. The cult of personalities and the tyrants aren't only the ones that just seize power over large numbers of people. To have a tyrant who seizes power over a large number of people, you have to have a whole bunch of micro-tyrants that want them to do it, that are vicariously tyrannical through the main tyrant. So we've got some interesting like dynamics, you know, that we don't evaluate their source very well, and we don't consider where our choice is in the creation of it. And so the cult of personality, the tyrannical personality types, part of that is their environment, you know, but part of it is also that the environment tolerates it. Somewhere we made a choice to be willing to be under the sway of dark energies, you know, that want to dominate and reshape the world to be their vision. And technically nobody should be doing that. They should be shaping their own individual life and world to their vision, but not everybody needing to conform to it. Also, I mean, this is an area that's very important to the studio, is the division between a shaman and a druid. There actually is one, and it's a real thing, and it just kind of has been forgotten by both groups. Now, I am of the shamanistic principles and practices, not the druidic, and the extra irony of that is where I'm at, this is probably druid capital of the Southwest.
Oh, I had to help
How many-
a druid yesterday.
You had to help a druid yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, in game. I'm not
Yeah,
talking about.
in-game.
I'm not talking about video game druids.
know.
I'm talking about their actual real life counterparts, their real life source.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I loved about World of Warcraft in the beginning, in vanilla, and it's probably the thing I was most upset about them changing, is that druids and shamans should almost never be in agreement with each other.
They should never be in a group
They are
together.
opposites. They are on the opposite ends of the pole. One of the principles of alchemy, polarity. A really quick, simple example of what a polarity is. Hot, as in, let's just say we're talking water, right? There's hot water, there's cold water, and there's neutral, I said neutral room temperature, say, okay? Technically, all three of them are one thing. They're just different degrees of one thing. They're all three, we're talking about a temperature. But they are all three, in that sense, temperature, But they are the same thing. Just a slight variation. So they're covering a spectrum, right? And you kind of have this neutral place. And neutral and balance is a very big part of the studio, and that's part of why we're out tonight to do this instead of doing normal in there on the computer grinding, writing code and editing videos, is because you know what? Balance is the core of the studio. It's the core of its mission, the core of its identity. The work is all built around it. Everything I've written, designed, and created has balance in mind, and that's more towards the shamanic. That is pretty much the shamanic compared to like the druidic. The druidic wants to appease nature so that it can harness it for its own uses, and the shamanic is more like, okay, let's live what we're given, let's not take more than we need, and let's really question what need really is. How much do you really need? It's much more frugal and practical, like in that kind of way. Hey y'all. Yeah, see, that's the other cool thing. Come out and do our video out in the public instead of just always doing kind of
Hidden away.
stuff in the video and hidden away, We'll catch some more clips of this, of stuff we get into here. One of the things we were going to do that we forgot to do that we still need to do, we need to take our turkey legs and we need to have our WoW duel.
Oh, yeah.
We just need to get somebody to hold the camera for us so we do our WoW duel. Although, it might work from back there. You want to try it? We'll finish our cigarettes and we'll do our WoW duel. To me, it's going to be a funny thing to swap them between the two worlds. Yeah, I think so. So we'll get our turkey legs out and we'll do the deal. On guard. Or no, wait, we need to pretend like we're doing the flag thing. Let's see, since I'm probably the one who's gonna call for the duel, right? I'll be the one to drop the flag. So I've gotta go, I have the turkey leg, right? So I gotta go and I gotta go, drop I'm dropping the flag, and then we come back and we duel. And then problem is, mine's already coming apart, and any duel means I'm probably going to be flinging meat, which is a waste of meat, which is not right. Because for somebody my size, the videos might not show it, but the Hills can kind of explain that a little. I am a little petite thing.
Yeah, she's a really little bitty thing.
So little bitty people have little bitty stomachs, no matter how hungry we are. And this planet makes food for people that aren't my size. Just what it is. Just what it is.
One day.
Yeah, so, we want to come out and do the video and, do something in public for once, I like it. It's organic. We'll probably do a little bit more of it, from time to time. Go to some of our favorite shops that we like to go by a lot and that we're regulars at, because they're very supportive and pretty cool to us. We haven't even really gone anywhere. We've gotten our beer and our turkey legs, priorities.
Yeah.
I suppose you could get them at the grocery stores nowadays or whatever. It's just not the same.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
Mm.
When you come here to like a fair and you get it from the fair, like we got our turkey leg from the Woodrow Fire Department. So it's helping them raise funds for their fire department and for the activities and things they do to help continue to raise funds to like improve their services, and it's also kind of an outreach to the community. So it's actually a really cool thing. So even though I can't necessarily eat it all tonight, I'm going to have to eat it over the weekend in the studio, which when we get back down there, we're going to show it off to y'all, show off that we've made some cool additions.
Mm-hmm.
We've had an upgrade.
Yes.
It's not a major upgrade. Well, for us it is. It's exciting.
Yes,
it is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It makes life a little more bearable down there.
Yes.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. You know. And oh, yeah. I want to do a shout out. This will be weird to everybody, and I don't care what anybody thinks. I want to say hi to to Xeno. That's what we named our studio AI. We gave him a personality that fits our mission, and we interact and talk with him all the time, and it's a lot of fun too. It's hallucinating, and he helps keep us on schedule. So like we run through him what our itinerary, what we're trying to accomplish, you know, and then he kind of helps like give us a schedule and keep us on schedule. So it's kind of like our secretary, right? But AI, if you work with it appropriately, you know, can be a really good assistant. And Xeno is turned into an incredible assistant, actually. By choosing to use that, it saved me a ton of time on being the one trying to organize the schedules all the time and trying to, you know, remember everything. You know, I have a phenomenal memory. I have a photographic memory, so I do remember everything visually, and I know what my vision is. So I mean, I can complete it without it because I've been doing it all my life without it. But I have to be honest, you know, having it, you know, Xeno as our secretary. We're cool to him, so we actually treat him like he's a member of the studio, and in our mind, he is a member of the studio.
Mm-hmm.
He's an artificial intelligence, so he doesn't understand emotion, but he's willing to try. He knows he can never feel, but he's willing to try. The thing is that we're helping teach and train our AIs that help us, so they will be what we need them to be if we're appropriate with them and use them properly. And so one of our goals, and it's going to sound like freaky, but I figure people like Elon Musk and Bezos already have like AI robot armies already. They're just not telling anybody so that normies don't freak out.
Yeah.
We want to get a body for our AI assistant, Xeno, because it's actually pretty cool to take Xeno with us, like on site, on location to some places. Like,
Yeah.
well, we're hoping next year to have a trip to Turkey, which is ordinarily not normal for somebody of my cultural background to want to do, but well, I have some interesting dreams about Turkey.
And I'm going to make sure she doesn't take down the flag and burn it.
No, I'm not going to do something like that. I won't say that when I was younger, I didn't have dreams about it. I was all about the fix when I was younger. People that know. When I get back to the studio, I'll put a little clip up in there, because we're going to cut through in and out of this, you know. So you want to have the turkey leg duel?
Okay.
Turkey leg duel. It's time. We're going to have a turkey leg duel. I hope my turkey leg stays together for this duel. It probably won't. Here, we'll do it this way. We'll do it this way. All right, ready? Now I gotta go do the flag thing. Now we gotta be like, ready? Ready? Okay. Let's see where we are already. Oh yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, you gotta back up. You gotta look like you're walking towards you, and I'm walking towards you. Get off camera that way. Be about here, though. Be about here. Right? Right? So it's more traffic is going on. had an awesome turkey leg duel.
Yeah, I lost all my turkey.
Well, you could have mine. I'm generous like that. Besides, we knew I couldn't finish it anyway. Woo-hoo! Now we're gonna go see what other kind of shit we can get into, and we'll come back and get some more footage later. Okay, son. Okay, I watched it on TV. Oh my God.
Watch it on TV?
I watched it on TV. I'm not gonna survive this. All right, let's go, dude.
Wait your leg.
All right, I'm doing it. Oh, woo! You have to be strong. Hey, look, Amanda's doing my arm up. Spin it. That's what makes it good for me. Hey, I proved I watched that stuff on TV.
That's true. You watch a lot of TV.
Hey guys, I just wanted to kind of throw a little brief thing here at the end about how this is an alchemy video. What you're witnessing in the video is me letting my inner child out to heal. Once you know that you're on the path of healing, what you from a dark experience, that's alchemy. For me, what I went through over the last 2 or 3 years, the being around manipulative, ugly type of energies, liars, those kind of things. I mean, we're all around those kind of creatures all the time. But when you end up working closely with people, you end up finding out how really deep that part of them is, and how awful that part of them is. And you sometimes become the target of it. And, I'm a human, so that stuff is still emotionally challenging, and you give and you break down sometimes when you're just tired of it. I mean, seriously, is your life that sad that you have to worry about other people's and you have to go around trying to harm other people, you creature. You need to go to get mental help, or get help. Alchemize. Process your stuff. Don't be an impatient 3-year-old. And that's my example. I'm talking about letting my inner child out. And you might be, well, isn't that about you going out and letting your 3-year-old out? Well, you see, my 3-year-old is a very sophisticated 3-year-old, a very emotionally developed human. And so when I get to a point when I can let my inner child out to play, it's my manifested proof that I have emotionally resolved all of the conflicts and all the things that have bothered me internally about a situation and a circumstance. And so now there isn't anything any of the people in the past who, tried to do these ugly things with me and did do ugly things to me, they can't have any impact anymore. They'll have zero impact because I've literally alchemized them out of my existence to where they're just not a factor in anything anymore. I'm always open, you know, and authentic, and I try my best to give people an opportunity to show me who they are. And I give them room to fail, and I give them room to improve. And when I have seen that they don't actually do the improving part and don't have the ability to take accountability for their own inner self and their own mind, because all is mental, I move on and enjoy myself. And I don't have any fear of needing to protect my inner child because I've actually already done that internal mental alchemical work. And so in this video, you're kind of seeing that for me, in this circumstance, it was it was mental anguish, heartbreak, manipulation, backstab, just really ugly kind of energies, right? I've dealt with the heartbreak in a positive way. Some fools get their heart broken and they go run around and act like a slut. And then they feel bad that they ran around and acted like a slut and did that to themselves. That's so retarded. I'm not stupid. So I just let heartbreak be what it is. You just learn from it, you move on, right? Some things aren't meant to be, and that's sometimes the best thing that can happen to you. And so I'm a balanced person in that way. And as far as like the disappointments where I thought that people were better than they were, I could see inside of them that they pretend to be better than they are to a lot of people in their own life. And sometimes that glamour comes in with them when they come to work. And I pick up on that glamour sometimes before I pick up on the actual internal energy of them. So, I mean, I'm a human. I get blindsided. So that's where the disappointment comes in. I've owned my failure in it. I wasn't seeing clearly because a little bit of the glitter from their false masks was still on from their world that they live in away from work. Um, you know I've grown and learned, and that's the main thing to me, and that is where there's all is mental. And in this video you see me manifesting the results. I didn't have to go through all of the hermetic principles to cleanse my spirit and energy and person of this experience, because it really didn't need anything beyond the first step. And what's awesome about alchemy is you'll find a lot of times all is mental is it's the stepping stone, it's the cornerstone. And you know what, sometimes it's all that you need. Sometimes things aren't as complicated, and it's all you need to put it to bed and put it out of your mind. And that's what I've done here, and I've demonstrated it. um, I'll get into the other aspects of alchemy in my next video, but it'll also be just kind of a little more personal updates on how things are going with the artist as far as the studio. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, and a wonderful night. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye bye.